Nothing is wrong. That's the strange part. Your life looks fine from the outside. You're functioning. You're doing what you're supposed to do. You wake up. You go through the day. You talk to people. You laugh when you're expected to. But somewhere underneath all of it, there's a quiet emptiness. Not sadness. Not pain. Just nothing. And that emptiness scares you more than feeling bad ever did. Because when you're sad, at least there's a reason. But when everything is fine and you still feel empty, you start wondering what's wrong with you. Let's get something important out of the way. What you're feeling isn't always depression. Depression is heavy, dark, overwhelming. This emptiness is different. It's quieter, subtler, harder to explain. You can still function. You can still smile. You can still get things done. But you don't feel connected to it. Life feels like something you're observing, not participating in. And because it doesn't look like depression, people tell you, you're fine. You have nothing to complain about. Be grateful. So you stop talking about it. And the emptiness grows in silence. Emptiness isn't the absence of emotion. It's the absence of permission to feel. At some point, your mind learned that certain emotions were inconvenient, too much, unwanted, ignored. So instead of expressing them, you learned to shut them down. Not consciously, automatically. You didn't decide to become emotionally numb. You adapted. Emptiness is what happens when your emotional system stays in neutral for too long. Not because you don't feel, but because feeling once came with consequences. And the emptiness grows in silence. Think back. How often were you asked how you were? And how often was fine the only acceptable answer? Maybe no one explicitly told you to hide your emotions, but you noticed patterns. When you were calm, things were easier. When you needed something, things got complicated. When you expressed hurt, it was minimized. So you learned, don't ask for too much. Don't feel too deeply. Don't disrupt the atmosphere. You learned to keep things smooth. And over time, fine stopped being an answer. It became an identity. This is why achievements don't fill the emptiness. You reach goals. You check boxes. You move forward. But the emptiness stays. Because success doesn't reconnect you to suppressed emotion. It distracts you from it. That's why the emptiness often returns after finishing something important, reaching a milestone, getting what you wanted. The moment things slow down, there it is again. Quiet. Waiting. Emotional neglect doesn't mean abuse. It doesn't mean cruelty. Sometimes it looks like parents who were present but overwhelmed, caregivers who provided safety but not attunement, environments where emotions weren't explored. No one taught you how to feel. You learned how to cope instead. So your emotional world stayed underdeveloped, not damaged, just unattended. Emptiness is often grief for emotional experiences you never had. There's another layer to this. You feel guilty for feeling empty. Because on paper, your life looks okay. So you tell yourself, I shouldn't feel this way. Others have it worse. I'm being ungrateful. But guilt doesn't create connection. It deepens disconnection. You're invalidating an internal experience just because it doesn't look dramatic. Your nervous system doesn't respond to logic. It responds to acknowledgement. Here's the part most people never hear. Emptiness can be a form of protection. Feeling deeply once came with disappointment, loss, rejection. So your system learned, if I don't fully engage, I won't fully hurt. Numbness isn't laziness. It's caution. Your mind didn't shut down emotions because they were useless. It shut them down because they were overwhelming without support. This is why distraction feels necessary. Scrolling, noise, background videos, constant stimulation. Not because you're addicted, but because silence brings you closer to the emptiness. And emptiness feels like falling. So you stay busy. But distraction only postpones the encounter. It never resolves it. Emptiness isn't asking you to do more. It's asking you to feel safely, to slow down without judgment, to notice emotions without fixing them, to allow small feelings instead of suppressing everything. You don't need to force joy. You need to rebuild emotional permission. That starts with recognizing emptiness not as a flaw, but as a message. Emptiness isn't asking you to do more. It's asking you to feel safely, to slow down without judgment, to notice emotions without fixing them, to allow small feelings instead of suppressing everything. You don't need to force joy. You need to rebuild emotional permission. That starts with recognizing emptiness not as a flaw, but as a message. If you feel empty even when life is fine, it doesn't mean you're ungrateful. It means there's a part of you that learned to stay quiet for too long. And that part doesn't need fixing. It needs safety. If this felt personal, you're not alone. This is Psychora, understanding the mind you were never taught to understand.